Hey guys, another quick video real quick from a question that I received from you guys. So the question I thought was actually kind of humorous, but it had a lot of good parts to it. So how do I convince people that they want my photography? And the actual question was, how does everyone has thousands of selfies and they say they have enough photos of themselves? It's like selling ice cubes to an Eskimo, which I thought was pretty funny. And then it was like, how do I convince people that they want my photography? So I kind of thought about three parts of that. There's kind of three answers. One is about quality, one is about selling products, and one is about not convincing people to buy your photography. So let me go through each one of those. So the first one is quality. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this one because I don't think it's as important, but I think I have some good points here. Make sure that your pictures don't look like selfies. That's really easy to say, and everyone's like, okay, probably closing the video right now. But here's the ways that you can actually make sure that your videos don't look like somebody that just some average person can take. Make sure you're using shallow depth of field. So if that means that you need to go buy, like a 1.8 lens or a 1.4 lens, you probably should, because people taking cell phone pictures and consumer cameras, they just can never get that look. So that's a reason why you should buy a better lens, because it actually produces a different look and separates you from everybody else. And then use lighting that actually takes work. A lot of people just do natural light, or they'll just do one light. If you're trying to stand out from everyone just taking cell phone pictures, or using a cheaper camera, actually spend some time and figure out some lighting techniques that look different. And the combination of multiple lights with shallow depth of field can really make you look like a professional. So go through and look at your pictures and see, like, okay, how does my depth of field look compared to an average camera or an average phone, and how does my lighting look compared to an average camera or average phone, and that may help you separate yourself. I don't think that's the most important part, but that's just something that that wasn't built into the question. So I think the most important part is you need to sell products. So one of the major shifts that we made at our studio, and it really helped us grow our business, is when we got people to stop buying our photos and people to start buying our products. It's two different things. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just trying to sell my image. No, you're actually trying to sell them a product that has your image on it, and so it has a lot more value. One of the reasons why this is true is because when you're selling a product, you're in a different part of their mind. They're actually buying something physical. They also have a budget typically for their home decor or their house, and so you get to tap into that budget. It typically is pretty large. Like, we're getting ready to do new carpet in our house, and it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. So naturally, when I think about investing in my house, I think of it in thousands of dollars, not hundreds of dollars. And so it's good to be in that world, and it just gives them a reason to buy. So they have a place to put it. It's something that they want. Once they see it, they picture it in their house, then they want it. That's a much different mental exercise for them than it is just looking at an image and possibly putting it on a disc and then having to do something with it later. The other thing is, a lot of people just don't know how to shot photography, and so they can't even imagine what they would do with pictures, and so you need to show them. We can do big prints, we can do wall art, we can do albums, we can do all these things that you can't really get online. One of the really interesting things is, the majority of people, when they order pictures online through a disc or through a USB, is that they typically just order 8x10s and smaller. So you want to offer them products that they can't do that way. And you and I both know that they can order canvases and metals and stuff as well online, but for the most part, people don't, because they don't really know what they're buying. So if you can show them, like, hey, this is what a 16x20 metal looks like, they'll be like, oh, that looks really great in my home. And that's really, really powerful. So don't just sell your image, actually sell a product that's attached to your image. And when you make that shift into products, you'll see that the sales come a lot easier and people really want to come to your studio. The last part is, I just don't think you should be convincing people that they want your product. Obviously, that's the goal, right? Is that you want people, but if you're in that mindset where you have to convince somebody, that's not the customer you want, because you may convince somebody, but then they're going to just basically barely give you anything because you had to basically trick them or convince them to bring you money. You want to find those people that actually want your product. Way easier said than done, I know. I mean, that's an obvious statement. Find people that want your product and life will be easy. And you're like, yeah, I know, Matt. Like, if I could figure that out, it'd be fine. The key on this whole thing is to focus on leads. And your whole goal in your marketing should be to try to get people to raise their hands and tell you that they're interested in photography. So, for example, at our studio, we use a lot of like what to wear guides and location guides that they can download and give us their information for. And I'll link this below, class about this below. But what we do is we just put all that out into the world, and then we wait for these people to raise their hand and say, and download our guide, or, you know, show some kind of way to show like, hey, we're kind of interested in photography. And those are the people that we work. We don't just keep yelling at strangers that have no interest in photography, or trying to convince our friends that have no interest in photography. That's not the game. We put marketing out in the world and wait for it to come back to us with a short list of people that are interested. So the way I think about this a lot, and I'll cover this in other videos as well, but I think about this as there's people on the different spectrums. There's like cold people that have no interest in what you're doing, or they're complete strangers to you. Then there's warm people, whether they kind of know you or they're kind of interested in. And then there's hot people that are really interested in you. Basically just need to book them now. So a lot of people just spend all their energy on cold traffic trying to convince them to become hot traffic, and that's just not how it works. You need to nurture them. But if you send like lead magnets and what to wear guides and those type of downloadables out into the world, into your marketing, into the cold world, you may be able to, you know, put that in front of 1,000 people, and then maybe 3 or 4 people bubble up and say, yeah, I'm kind of interested. And then you just have to work them, and they may just be warm at that point, and it may take them a couple more weeks or months to book with you, but at least you have the list. Or you may put that marketing out into the world, and they raise their hand and say, I'm interested, and they may be hot, and you can book them the next day. It kind of just depends. But you should definitely, you know when you're marketing to cold people, it's different than when you're marketing to hot people. So, you know, hopefully that kind of helps you get an idea of what to do. I'll link my what to wear guides down below, and you guys can check out that. And if you have any other questions, just send them on over.